Why do I like Jax? Sure, he's popular, but I usually have a different basis for picking out my favorite character. I once went to a panel at BronyCon, hosted by Patrick Edwards, PhD, the Brony psychologist, who explained two bases that people have for picking out their favorite character. They either saw something of themselves in that character, or saw that character as who they wanted to be. There are names for these two different phenomena. Similarity identification is based on the perception of currently being like the character. For instance, a nerd might identify with Twilight Sparkle. Meanwhile, there's wishful identification, which is based on the desire to be more like the character. For instance, a timid person might identify with Rainbow Dash. Case in point, my favorite pony is Applejack, because I want to be more like her. I like her even more than the character I'm much more like, and who's much more popular, Twilight Sparkle. So theoretically, my favorite Digital Circus character should either be Zooble, who I want to be like, or Ragatha, who I'm most like already. And yet, my favorite character is Jax, which is curious. After all, I'm not Jax, and I don't think I want to be like Jax either. Maybe I like Jax because I gravitate towards fellow insane people, even if they are insane in a different way than I happen to be. Maybe I like him because his survivor guilt jibes with my own white guilt, Catholic guilt, and liberal guilt. Maybe I like him just because I'm a furry and I like the way he looks, especially in certain kinds of fan art. Maybe I like him because I think I can fix him. Maybe I like him because he knows how hard it is to be vegan. Maybe I like him because he's a fellow misanthropic loner who doesn't buddy up with others. At least, not anymore. Or maybe I like him because I sometimes like the funny breakout character in whatever show I'm watching, like Roger in American Dad, or Tyrion in Game of Thrones. That would help explain why I liked Jax from the very beginning. But with all three of these characters, there's more at play. For instance, with Tyrion, I identify with how he tried and failed to impress his parental figure. Similarly, I appreciate Roger as a fellow pansexual non-binary person. And just like Jax, sometimes I say or do things just to see what will happen. Also, I liked how Jax seemed nearly fearless, from the beginning all the way up until they all get guns. As an aside, now that we know Kane can control people's minds, I wonder if that happened right before Jax physically pushed Pomni away. Regardless, it seems clear that his words and actions during the following argument were his, and they seem to be based on one or both of two reasons. The first reason is selfish. Perhaps Jax was worried that Pomni would abstract, as had happened to two of his friends already, and he didn't want to suffer that pain again. Or perhaps Jax had a more selfless reason. Maybe Jax was worried that he would abstract, as seemed to nearly happen in Guns and Beach episode, and he didn't want Pomni to go through what he had. Assuming this interpretation is correct, these reasons are explanations, but not excuses. The responsible thing would be to tell Pomni, "I'm worried about you," but Jax wasn't brave enough to admit that. Bravery is not necessarily about hiding your fear. It's about not letting your fear stop you, and Jax let his fear stop him. Not his fear of abstraction, but his fear of seeming weak. Other examples of this fear include his anger when Ragatha took away a life, and his repeated denial of his corn phobia. Luckily, my opinion of Jax went back up in Beach episode, partly because I loved his vor joke, but also because he played along and helped out the others, which didn't come easily to him. For a people-pleaser like Ragatha, it's easy to help others. But for Jax, that really counts because that was hard for him. In the end, I admire Jax because he doesn't take things very seriously and doesn't care much what other people think. Like Ragatha, I'm on the far opposite end of that spectrum. I'm reminded of virtue ethics, which is associated with Aristotle. He spoke of vices of deficiency and vices of excess. The goal is to have not too much or too little of a virtue. In other words, to have an amount that's just right. So, just as Ragatha and I need to care less about what other people think of us, Jax needs to care a little bit more. I don't know what'll happen to Jax in the remaining 2 episodes, but whatever happens, as his fellow troublemaker Kokichi Oma once said, "Well, Jax, you definitely weren't boring." Now, it's your turn. Who's your favorite Digital Circus character, and why? Is it because you're like them, or because you want to be like them? I'll see you in the comments. Also, if you like this video, check out my other digital circus exploration. Weaknesses come with strengths. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe for more, and remember, your fears don't stop you unless you let them.